rolling start coming up, 12 laps of distance.
Tomasi, Crompton, Lacey, Woodman, Bradford, Hargraves, Taunton, Smith and Michael Robinson rounding out the 10 that take the start now. Phil Crompton, not a sight we see often across the front row of the grid, but in the National Series, but in the State Series, he does quite often fill that role. Shane Woodman right round the outside, the Victorian, with Viral Chetan, though he's buried back down in the field. That'll be Lacey in there as well. So Tomasi's commanding the respect right out in front. Championship leader coming into this round, Steve Tomasi, on 354 points. So he's gathering a massive points. Here comes Randall in the Sky Sands Saab.
Yeah, and Shane Bradford's another one, had dramas yesterday with clutch issues and couldn't change a lot of gear. But as you did say, Randall is the one who's trying to thread his way through the traffic before his tyres get overused. Therefore, he can have a shot at getting up to making a bid for a new lap record. And he's already just passed Adam Hargraves in the Mark II V8. And Shane Woodman will be the next one just ahead of him on the road. We've just seen a bit of a squirrel effect come out of the Chev Camaro of Shane Bradford, and you can see now that look who's moved in right behind him.
Right in there as well. So Shane Woodman, the fellow Victorian, just ease that gap there so he can get through. There's a big spin right in the last corner there. Not sure who that is, but Randall draws alongside now the Aston Air car of Shane Bradford. Great to see Shane having a full national tilt throughout this season, and he's sitting pretty well also in this run. He's about 8th in the title hunt.
Jeff Tanton, the one who had that spin down at turn 6, but gets it going again. And here comes Randall, lines up Lacey down the back straight and just whistles his way past the Sky Sands Saab on the move in the Sky Sands race at the moment.
Well, this is an interesting storyline with Thomas Randall. We know him from his exploits that he's done over in New Zealand, winning the Toyota Series and racing in F4 as well, and doing a tremendous job in his career. He's racing in the Dunlop Development Series, which clashes with the last round at Phillip Island. So what he has to do is he has to win everything today. Stephen Tomasi also has to win everything today. But these two protagonists will not meet each other at the final round because his first commitment is to the Dunlop Super 2 Series. So let's see what Thomas can do. And already made his way into P2, fastest sectors, and now a 109.68. We should see that come down a bit further before we're in the lap record territory, but certainly driving well.
Billy Chetan has spun the Camaro down to turn 6. He is the current title holder, broke a wing yesterday's race, therefore didn't finish, but then managed to get it going again. And there's Lacey making his way down the back straight. Keep an eye on this lap from Randall. This will be the one where he can possibly get a lap record.
Yeah, he's got a couple of opportunities from about lap 3 through to about lap 6. So Stephen Tomasi, the lead now, 3.6 seconds back to Thomas Randall. And we look back to Bradford, Shane Woodman, Adam Hargraves, Michael Robinson in the Bell Real Estate car. And there's the move down from Bradford on Woodman as well, the Landau Signs.
Yeah, Woodman tried to go down the outside of him. I think Bradford's got some of the same problems recurring today as he had yesterday, because Woodman was in front of him at the start of the race, slipped behind him, and now trying to make up that ground. We've just got a replay here of Beryl Chetan going around at turn 6.
Car number 1 took out last year's championship, and it was stringing it together last year. He strung together a result after result after result. Lock up there for Shane Bradford. Woodman all over the back of him there as well. Woodman had, I spoke to him this morning, yesterday in the heat, he had blurred vision. He was actually struggling. When I spoke to him this morning, they were loading the ice into the cool suit, which probably right now the ambience not so bad, but he was experiencing 88 degrees inside the cabin.
That's hot. Electrical problems for that car on Friday and into qualifying, but managed to sort them out. As you can see, I think Bradford's struggling a little bit. We can see the car just pitching tyres going down to turn 1 earlier. Fastest lap for the race at the moment. We have Randall with just a slightly over a 108.
So Greg Rust in the pit lane.
Got a little bit of an update for you with the Mark Cars team. Unfortunately, Jeff Taunton, you've had some sort of issue. What's happened? It looks like some of the bodywork's folded over or damaged the right rear. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just that, we're so good on the brakes, and the Monaros and the other big horsepower cars haven't got the brakes. So in the early part, there's bit of that going on. That's what's fine. It's just a couple of panels. It'll be right. We'll come back.
Good on you. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah, we've just seen Randall go through in a 107.59. It's just a smidgen outside the lap record.
It's a 107.50 that he has to be to. It's the Jack Perkins in the John Gourlay Audi that did that lap record. So we're still in that window. It's up to about lap 6 or 7 that the tyre and everything will come good. And I would expect in the hands of our new race leader in the Sky Sands Saab, it will be very close by. Have a look at this. Woodman down the inside now. Liam Hill from Riverside Racing, who's preparing that car so well these days, has been working very hard. There was also a clutch issue with that car on Friday, so it's actually got a bit of the old sticks and twine and chewing gum holding that side of things together. No, that's not what Riverside Racing do. They've engineered a beautiful piece of clutch for him, but it wasn't what they originally came here this weekend to run. So let's watch how it works.
Change of position there with the race lead going very quickly the way of Randall as he goes through and takes the lead and does a 107.55, 400ths off the lap record. And these Michelin's are renowned for coming on later into a race, so he's still got tyre life there that can possibly get this lap record.
So there's that battle again with Lacey and Woodman. He's put Shane Bradford right behind him now, so he's now pushing on through. So that's for 4th and 5th on the road. Phil Crompton just disappearing down the road there as well. So started off the front row, finds himself in P3, and it's quite a healthy gap between those guys. It's a good 3 seconds between that battle.
Shane Woodman now trying to get past Steve Lacey in the Camaro from New South Wales, and of course the BMW from Victoria. Been a great battle between these two all through qualifying and yesterday's race. Lacey coming off the back of a state championship win at Wakefield Park last weekend. Look at the flames spitting out the side of that Camaro every time he comes down through the gears at the various tight corners. Here's a replay of the pass for the lead. You can see Randall through on the inside of Tomasi out of turn 3 takes away the lead.
Gary, do you get the feeling that we've got a little bit of Tony Ricciardello, Darren Hossack coming through, the next generation of sports sedans?
Yeah, but I don't think Steve Tomasi really wants to put up a fight here. He's happy to take the points because he knows if he keeps getting good points, he's got this series wrapped up.
Yeah, there's been a few years in trying too, and he's thrown it at them all. He's thrown it at those two I mentioned, Tony Ricciardello, Darren Hossack, that famous coming together at the very fast first corner. And off goes Woodman. Gathers it back up, but he was ranging up onto the back of the Tompkin Camaro there as Steve Lacey pulls it back in. This car's working very, very well at the moment. It's right in the window that Shane is using it.
Look who's come back up on the back of it, Bradford and Michael Robinson.
What a great shot of the back of the Sky Sands Sports Sedans coming out of that corner.
Yeah. Don't you like the back of those Holden Monaros? Don't they look good?
Yeah, they really are. They're a wide thing. Here we go again. This is Lacey and the Landau Science car of Shane Woodman. Off the back there, that's not ideal for a very hot sports sedan racing slick. And gets back on there, gets it all gathered back up and selects a gear and goes on with it. Here we are back again with the live pictures. And, well, you just pointed it out, Gary. You've been doing sports sedans for a long time. Please announce it.
New lap record, 107.3284 for Thomas Randall. He was aiming for it, he wanted to get it, and he thought this race was the best opportunity, and now has a lap record, and who's to say that's the end of it yet?
Oh, yeah. We're on lap 8, so I guess he might have probably used up the best of the car. It's a 12-lap journey, and I know Jack Perkins will be watching, so Jack, unfortunately, your lap record for the Sky Sands National Sports Sedans has gone, but it's gone the way of Thomas Randall in that Saab, which is the multiple championship winning car, by the way.
Yes, and look at this great battle that's going on. This is for position 4, would you believe? There's our race leader and new lap record holder. Can he get down to maybe a very low 7 or even a high 6 before this is over?
Good shots there into the car. New sponsorship on board with De Vilbus for this car this season as well, as it bobbles its way through turn 1 there. These sports sedans do point out any impurities in the racing surface. Here we go, Woodman again on the back of Lacey. Bradford right in the back of Woodman there as well, and here comes Michael Robinson, that car spent the entire off-season down at Riverside Racing, getting entirely from the firewall forward rebuilt. Still looks the same on the outside, but everything under the skin has been renewed on that car. So Michael Robinson now goes down the inside of Bradford. We wouldn't have seen that in years gone by. So both the cars coming out of the Riverside Racing garage are really pushing hard here this morning.
Yeah, Darren Hossack had some laps in the Michael Robinson Monaro prior to last weekend. So just to get his ideas and pass them on to the custodian of the car now, as Robinson takes ahead. As we've seen just ahead of them, Woodman go through on Lacey, but just overshoot slightly. Fortunately, he's on the right side of the road, well, left in our perspective, but the correct side of the road to take the lead away at turn 4.
The other interesting thing about the number 16 there, the BMW of Woodman, is that John Bowe drove this car at Sydney Motorsport Park recently. Here it is again. Woodman, big under brakes. And just as everyone does, drifts a little bit wide there. Huge set of rubber, the hand-cooked rubber hanging underneath there. And trying to just get the power down. Tromps on the loud pedal. Here's Robbo now. Just can't dispatch with the number 68, the Aston Air car. Looks to the inside. The yellow Monaro, the black bonnet. Charges on through. The real estate agent from the Dandenong Rangers in Melbourne.
Yeah, I don't think that's tyre pinch from the Camaro either. That looks a bit more mechanical.
That's the last thing we want right now, isn't it, Kaz? Is some mechanical concerns with any of our cars.
Oh, Lacey off the road out of turn 2, but holds it together as we see Robinson now line up the Camaro. Riley Scott built Trans Am car in America in 1993. So it's been around for quite a while. It's about the 9th car they built that year. So it's had a great life. It's only had one major incident in its life. And of course, Shane has restored it back to the colours that it's probably best well known for when it raced in the States. And unfortunately, he's just gone off the road out of turn 4. So he surrendered that spot quite easily.
Michael Robinson in the Monaro we were just watching there has had his best year ever in the National Series last year, where he got second. But in the last 5 seasons, he's finished in the top 5 in the championship, and that's getting to the line and receiving the checkered flag and being at every race meeting. So he's looking for a big year this year. It's going to be hard to knock the guys out in front up on points. But second last year, he was very happy with that. Multiple Victorian champion and does a ripping job.
Well, he's currently 5th in the championship stage this time around, and the possibility is, with what's happened to those in front of him, he could end up second again.
He could, yeah, that's exactly right. It swings and roundabouts of point score systems, isn't it? Here we're watching the Saab now, the De Vilbius car. Sky Sands, support from Rusty French, very generous to keep this sports sedan on track. They are super consumers. They'll use up absolutely everything that they have. Charging down the straight, heads off on his final lap for this race.
He has buttoned out of it quite a bit. The car we did see a glimpse of just earlier, the Mark II car of Adam Hargraves. First weekend in that car, has driven a Mark Ford Focus V8 in the past, but this is his first outing in the Mark II, the car that Jake Camilleri drove at Tail and Bend. It was green then, now it's done in a splendid blue wrap, and he's doing pretty well for his first outing in the car. Very much a different sort of car to drive to the original Mark V8. It's a lot more aero and it's less forgiving if you get it out of shape at any stage. But certainly the one that's in shape at the moment is our race leader.
Certainly is. This car looks magnificent. Of course, James Serra took a title in the National Sports Sedans, as Dean Randall, Thomas's dad, who runs Dream Motorsport, took a title quite some time ago. And there's not a whole lot of that car left these days. This is a real aero development car. They're using air from under the front of the car and dispatching it through. So he lines it up to bring home race 2 for the weekend. He got to the line, but was excluded yesterday, and that is a result. That's a ripping win there for the De Vilbius Sky Sand Saab. And I reckon even better is the Domain Homes Tomasi car coming home in second, really consolidating himself in this title hunt here this weekend. It'll be Phil Crompton coming onto the straight now to take second place, and then this battle pack that has raged. Woodman's managed to drive away from them at the moment, and he will see them off as he gets to the line there. But we're just watching now. Here comes the Monaro of Michael Robinson, then Steve Lacey Hargraves.
And actually, Hargraves picked up a lot of time off him over the last couple of laps. But there's our race winner in Thomas Randall. Unfortunately, won't be at the final round, as you mentioned earlier, because of a commitment at Newcastle the same weekend. And certainly a good result for Steve Tomasi, who is, I imagine, a bit of a nervous sort of person this weekend with knowing the mechanics could bring him undone. It certainly won't be his efforts. And another reason why they had dramas in the first race, they tore a chunk out of the wheel yesterday in turn 1 with a slight touch with Shannons. No one's fault, just one of those things. And how the tyre stayed inflated was anyone's guess.
Yeah, it was an interesting phenomenon, that wasn't it? It was off the bead of the rim. So there goes Randall back into the lane. This is how it took place. So jumping away nicely, Tomasi, but he was soon to be gobbled up by that black and gold car charging down the inside. Crompton held them at bay through there. There's Woodman going wide in the number 16. Eventually got home a strong 4th place, Woodman. But Crompton basically held his position in 3rd position and was unchallenged.
Yeah,
basically from anyone. The only one that challenged him was Randall on his way through.
He got through, and then we've seen our current title holder go around at turn 6. That's Billy Chetton, as you can see from Billy's Motorsport. Broke a wing in the first race yesterday. Shane Woodman on the charge, gets past Shane Bradford through turn 3.
So Woodman was in the action all race long, whether it was Steve Lacey or it was with Bradford. Here's the pass for the lead and ultimately the race win. Tomasi didn't put up a huge battle, but what was huge is the splitters off the back of these cars. The diffusers are huge. Down the inside now on the New South Wales champion, Stephen Lacey goes. Woodman runs wide in the number 16, but this battle raged for a number of laps. Have a look at that diffuser hanging out the back there.
Huge.
And there he goes off. So a lot of pressure, Steve Lacey. He's a pressure racer, this guy, so that would have been really disappointing for him personally. He fought back to try and take on Robbo.
And Bradford, unfortunately, while trying to get a spot back off Michael Robertson, just went a little bit wide out of turn 4. And that was his challenge over and done with for the race.
So here comes to the line. There's the checkered flag, and it goes to Sky Sands, the Vilbus Saab there. This was the miners coming through to get their results. 6, 7, 8 on the race result to the line there. So Michael Robinson home in 5th and 6th.